The sight of Tyler Wilson, just 17, being hauled off in handcuffs while his mom lost her mind on the front lawn, man, that's something I don't think I'll ever be able to scrub from my memory, no matter how hard I try. Picture this. Karen Wilson, always in her perfectly pressed blazer, HOA president badge sparkling in the sun like it was a shield that made her invincible finger jabbing at Officer Martinez as if sheer volume could bend the law to her will. "You can't do this! I run this neighborhood! I know your captain!" She shrieked, her voice sharp enough to make even the birds shut up. Meanwhile, Tyler's smirking at the crowd, acting like he's the star of some show, cocky as ever, hands cuffed behind his back. "This is all a mistake," he calls out, "cool as you please. My mom will have me out in an hour." And you know what? For a long time, everyone in Maple Grove Estates believed it. But let me back up a second, because none of this started with a bang. It started quietly with a new house, fresh paint, and the kind of perfect lawn that says, "Don't mess with me." I read the HOA bylaws for fun. I thought I'd landed somewhere safe, where the biggest drama would be someone's grass growing half an inch too tall. Then my packages started vanishing. At first I figured, hey, maybe the delivery guys just messed up or left stuff at the wrong door. Happens everywhere, right? But after the third time, suspicion crept in. This place was supposed to be the gold standard for neighborhood security, gated entrances, strict rules, Karen's iron grip. Who would be dumb enough to mess with that? So I went to ask Mrs. Chen next door. She was out fussing with her roses hands and gloves, face tight with worry the moment I brought up missing packages. "Oh, you should check with the Wilson boy," she whispered, glancing up and down the street like we were talking about the mob. She wouldn't say more, but her eyes flicked to that big corner house, Karen's place. That was all I needed to know. That night, I installed a doorbell camera, high-def motion alerts, the whole 9 yards. Didn't take long to pay off. 2 days later, there he was on my phone screen, Tyler, broad daylight, hoodie up, but face full on in the frame, snatching my Amazon box without a care in the world, even whistling as he strolled away like he'd just fetched the mail for his mom. I watched that footage over and over, getting more pissed off each time. This wasn't some hard luck story. This was a kid who figured he was untouchable. So I did what any sane person would. I walked over to the Wilson house, phone in hand, evidence queued up. Karen opened the door in her trademark suit smile like she'd been waiting her whole life for someone to try her. "Well, hello, new neighbor," she purred, syrupy sweet. But the second I showed her that video, the mask dropped. Her eyes got cold. "That's quite an accusation," she said, low and dangerous. "Frankly, I find it insulting that you'd come here making wild claims about my son. I tried to keep it reasonable, just want my packages back and for this to stop, you know." But Karen went full queen of the HOA, arms crossed, icy stare. "Tyler is an honor student. He's captain of the debate team. He'd never stoop to theft. Maybe check your delivery emails before making such reckless accusations." And then the threat all dressed up in HOA language. "I'd suggest you choose your battles carefully around here. As president, I take false accusations very seriously, especially when they target good kids like Tyler." Well, that was that right. Except it wasn't. The thefts just got worse. Tyler started getting bold, taking stuff in the middle of the day, waving at my camera like it was a joke. One afternoon, I caught him with my neighbor's package and called out across the street. He looked back, smirked, and said, "Hey, mister, my mom runs this whole place. I'm basically untouchable. Maybe you should move if you don't like it here." He actually laughed as he walked off. That's when it clicked. This was never about stealing mail. It was about a family who thought they were above the rules, untouchable because of a little plastic badge. So I started talking to the neighbors, and let me tell you, once you scratch the surface, things get ugly fast. The Hendersons lost 4 packages in a month. The Johnsons' birthday gifts for their little girl gone. Even old Mr. Peterson, pushing 90, had his medication swiped. Everyone suspected Tyler, but no one dared cross Karen. "She can make life miserable," Mrs. Chen explained. "Last year she tried to fine the Smiths $500 because their grass was half an inch too tall. I convinced a handful of folks to start documenting things. We set up a group chat, kept notes, even shared camera footage. In 3 days we had Tyler on tape, stealing from 5 different houses, multiple angles, clear as day. So we took it to the HOA board, thinking surely they'd have to act. Karen scheduled the meeting for Tuesday morning when almost everyone was at work. Classic move. She spent the whole time dismissing our videos as doctored and called it a personal vendetta. This is harassment by people who don't appreciate the standards I maintain in this community, she told her buddies on the board, who just nodded along. When I tried to play the videos, she ruled them inadmissible. She even threatened to fine us for defamation. The whole thing was a farce, and I realized right then you don't beat people like Karen by playing their game. So I took all our evidence, organized it into a neat little folder, and drove down to the police station. Detective Sarah Martinez listened to my story, went through every bit of footage, and just shook her head. "You know, this is some of the best citizen detective work I've seen," she told me, almost smiling. "Multiple cameras, timestamps, clear ID, we can work with this." The cops moved faster than I expected. 2 days later, Martinez had talked to neighbors, tracked down missing items, even found out Tyler had been selling some of the stuff online, which meant we were dealing with organized retail crime, not just porch piracy. When Detective Martinez called to say they'd be making an arrest, I'll be honest, I felt a rush of satisfaction I hadn't felt in ages. Next day, police cruisers rolled up to the Wilson house right after school. I happened to be out front mowing the lawn, but yeah, maybe I lingered. Tyler got read his rights on the spot while Karen lost it, screaming at the officers about how this was harassment, how she'd have their badges, the whole 9 yards. Detective Martinez stayed calm, told Karen flat out that Tyler was being charged with multiple counts: package theft, trafficking, and stolen property, organized retail crime. The neighborhood lit up that night. Folks who'd been scared to say a word for years were suddenly sharing stories on every porch. Mrs. Peterson started a petition to kick Karen off the board. By noon the next day, 80% of the neighborhood had signed it. People lined up to talk about fines, harassment, threats, stuff that had been festering for years. Tyler's court date came up fast. With all the evidence and his decision to plead guilty, the judge gave him 6 months in juvie, 2 years probation, and made him pay back every last dollar. $3,000 in total, plus community service teaching other teens why crime doesn't pay. Karen tried one last time to save face, telling the judge her son's future shouldn't be ruined over a few silly mistakes. But the judge cut her off, said, "Actions have consequences, titles or not." Watching her face fall as Tyler was led away, well, that was one for the ages. The whole neighborhood felt lighter, like a storm finally passed. But here's the kicker. As Karen packed up her things and left the HOA presidency, some folks wondered if this would finally be the end of Maple Grove's drama, or just the start of something new. After all, there's always someone ready to pick up that badge. So let me ask you, do you think justice was served, or was this just neighbors ganging up on the local royalty? Ever dealt with a power-hungry HOA yourself? Drop your thoughts below, because in communities like this, the line between order and abuse gets mighty thin, and I'd love to hear where you stand.